A big India-Afghanistan reset. Afghanistan Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi is on a 6-day visit to India. A short while ago, he met with External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar. The big announcements made by the both of them, of course, first, the Indian embassy, which was shut for 4 years, will now be reopened. Also, you have Afghanistan coming out and saying that their soil will not be used for anti-India activities. A lot more said. Listen in to both S Jaishankar and the Afghan Taliban Foreign Minister.
We have had opportunities to speak to each other, once after the Pahalgam terrorist attack and the second time after the Kunar and Nangarhar earthquake. However, a meeting between us in person has a special value in allowing us to exchange perspectives, identify common interests, and forge closer cooperation. As a contiguous neighbor and a well-wisher of the Afghan people, India has a deep interest in your development and progress. Today, I reaffirm that our long-standing partnership that has seen so many Indian projects in Afghanistan stands renewed. We can discuss the maintenance and repairs of finished projects, as well as steps to complete others to which we have already committed. Excellency, we have a common commitment towards growth and prosperity. However, these are endangered by the shared threat of cross-border terrorism that both our nations face. We must coordinate efforts to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. We appreciate your sensitivity towards India's security concerns. Your solidarity with us in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terrorist attack was noteworthy. India is fully committed to the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence of Afghanistan. Closer cooperation between us contributes to your national development as well as regional stability and resilience. To enhance that, I am pleased to announce today the upgrading of India's technical mission in Kabul to the status of Embassy of India. India has also been a significant provider of food assistance to the Afghan people. A further consignment will be delivered in Kabul today. The plight of forcibly repatriated Afghan refugees is a matter of deep concern. Their dignity and livelihood is important. India agrees to help construct residences for them and continue providing material aid to rebuild their lives.
During the American occupation, there was many ups and downs that happened. However, throughout this time, we never gave a statement against India. Rather, we always sought good relations with India. We will not allow any group to threaten anyone else or use the territory of Afghanistan against others. India has always stood by Afghan people and has assisted them in many areas. Similarly, over the past 4 years, and particularly the recent earthquake in Kunar, India was the first country to respond in humanitarian assistance, and we would like to show appreciation. Afghanistan looks at India as a close friend. Afghanistan wants relations based on mutual respect and trade and people-to-people, political trade and people-to-people relations.
Vishnu Som, Senior Managing Editor, still with us. Vishnu, India to reopen the embassy in Kabul, can this be termed as a reset of ties or just a huge push, a huge boost to the existing strategic ties between the two countries?
Both, but I think what I just went through, I just heard what Dr. Jaishankar had to say, and I found one other part, Vedika, quite interesting. He said, and I quote, "As a contiguous neighbor and a well-wisher of the Afghan people, India has a deep interest in your development and progress." As a contiguous, if you look up the meaning of contiguous, it means that you are touching. Now, the only place where India and Afghanistan are touching are at the cusp of POK through something called the Wakhan corridor. So this is, I think, another very clear statement to Pakistan that, look, POK is India. and that India is touching Afghanistan to POK through POK, which of course is Indian. And so, we are neighbors because we are contiguous. We are sort of attached in a sense to one another. And that is at one level a premise for the equation. But I do believe besides that, the fact that you've got a full restoration of the diplomatic relationship between India and Afghanistan is significant. You've had the mission operating over there at a lower level after the ambassador and others were evacuated a couple of years back. That's being restored to a full mission. India has said, and very significantly, that we respect and recognize the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Afghanistan. So therefore, for all practical purposes, this is a full-fledged diplomatic recognition. And of course, a large amount of what India spoke about, our External Affairs Minister, had to do with the fact that we've got very deep economic ties, historical ties, cultural ties. There is a greater facilitation of visas for Afghans looking to come over here for education, or come over here for trade, or come over here for health, because that's a big factor as well. India wants to continue investing in Afghan cricket, and Afghan's cricketers are a champion side. They've trained over here in Greater Noida in a stadium as well in the past.
Yes.
Ajay Jadeja has been one of their coaches in the past, and they are now a world-beating side. I dare say if we help them too much, they might end up beating India. But be that as it may, it is a huge reset for the relationship. But one final point over here, Vedika, I think we need to keep in mind and never be insensitive to the fact that this is a new Afghanistan. It's a Taliban Afghanistan.
Absolutely.
The fact of the matter is that the education of women has disappeared.
Yes.
The diplomatic, or the political premise of Afghanistan doesn't include women, human rights, different level altogether. And these are things that India has fought for. We've championed democracy in that country. Today we are engaging the Afghan Taliban. Now that may be pragmatic and important in the context of Pakistan, but let's not forget about the premise of our democracy and indeed of our foreign policy.
Vishnu, Russia, if I'm not mistaken, is the only country that formally has recognized the Taliban government till now. Now, seeing what we have in terms of the opening statements from across the table by the External Affairs Minister and the Afghanistan representative, how would you define the strategic relationship between the two countries as of now?
I think there is a huge battle, and this has been a historic battle for geostrategic presence in Afghanistan. We've seen the Soviets do that in the 70s. They were pushed out by the Afghans. We've seen the Americans try and do that in the 2000s, and they were pushed out by factions over there.